Hi YouTube, it's Tessa. It has definitely been a while since I have uploaded a video, but I actually just recently, and actually I should say yesterday, got together an Amazon order. My husband and I actually did our first picking or thrifting um, trip out on Friday that we have actually done in probably the last 2 months. I think I only had maybe one or two other small orders that I have sent out with Amazon that were like probably only like 10 items. And a lot of it was things I had around here. And then we also, Amazon had their inventory clean out that they were doing in their warehouses. So we had a lot of items that had come back. And so I had actually spent a good bit of time putting those items on eBay, which I've already sold quite a few of those, so I'm fine, got a lot of our money back. Um, so things have been really busy. So just an update on us and where we are as far as our business goes. Let's see, my sales goal board, currently my goal for October was for us to hit $1,800 for the month, and that's between all of our accounts. So that is my eBay, my husband's eBay, and our Amazon. I have a feeling we're probably not going to hit that, and we're probably actually going to be lucky if we even hit the $1,500 mark. And the reason for that is sales have definitely slowed down, but we were not sending in any new items to Amazon because we have not been picking. I have been working very, very hard at getting through my own death pile, which, by the way, it kind of looks like my pile has grown. But in reality, I will say, let's see, those games that are right there, that stack of games, and let's see, yes, it's behind my chair over here. There's a box. It's right back here. You can't really see it. It's under that bin right there. And that box are really the only things that I have actually not processed from my death pile. Everything else that you see that is currently sitting back there is actually stuff that has come from other parts of the house that I have pulled. And specifically, this box that is right here behind me, this Body by Vi box actually, is leftover stuff from a digital store where somebody had given us a bunch of inventory several years ago. And that's the last of the stuff that we have to list. And we actually had it in our eBay room, and I had pulled that out. And then this bin here, I actually cleaned out of our bedroom, and this was a bunch of beading stuff that I pulled out. So it's kind of misleading because it looks like I haven't gotten through my death pile, but I really have. Um, and then I also, because I did get through mine, and 90% of mine was already gone, besides the couple things that I'm showing you that I had pulled from other parts of the house, I started actually sourcing from my husband's pile so that I could start, continue to help him get through his. And he was supposed to be listing 10 items a day, but he's not really quite got there. So he's just been too busy, and that's fine. I think we've kind of reached a point where I'm looking at it and saying, well, it kind of looks like he's probably going to be the buyer and I'm probably going to be the lister. So I kind of have to figure out how I'm going to try and handle the bulk of our listing myself, because I feel like right now I haven't been able to. But another reason for me not putting up videos for the past, couple months has been that I am really, really focused on my daily habits and really forming good routines and keeping up with these things. And I'm writing down goals. I have a goal list on my bulletin board up here that I can actually see every day. And I've actually updated today for November so that I have a brand new one. So I've really, really been working hard to try and really start to see some turnaround. Um, I think in one of my videos, I talked about my mom coming and to start take pictures for me. And she comes once a week. She usually comes on Friday mornings. She's usually here anywhere from 2 to 4 hours with maybe about an hour for lunch, usually in the middle there. But she comes, and I usually have an entire bin of things for her to get through and photograph. And then she's also been photographing older inventory that I had in my eBay room, because not only have I been working on trying to get through the death pile, but I've also been trying to upgrade all of my listings. eBay did something this past month, or maybe even before that, but I became aware of it this past month, where they were talking about their security issues or their security protocol that they had put into place, which means that any listings that you had listed with any type of third-party lister, and that includes Seller Sourcebook, where you use templates. It includes Turbo Lister, which a lot of people use, and that is an eBay company. I also used File Exchange, which is also an eBay entity. That's not even like a separate company. That's just a third-party program that they do use. And all of those listings had to be updated, and you either had to take out the HTML from those programs, or there was workarounds to get around it. Well, I was using PhotoBucket on a lot of my photos, but this year had stopped using them. And so gradually, as my mom was taking pictures, I had been going in every couple weeks and uploading new pictures on items. And then I did still have some items that had file exchange information in them because I had used the file exchange. Last year, one of my experiments was to try and use file exchange and see if it would make my listing if it would make it faster and more efficient. Unfortunately, the file exchange didn't work real well for us. I think file exchange would work better if you're trying to keep track of inventory numbers between different platforms that you're selling on, and when you have multiples of those items. So like if you had 1,000 of that one item and you needed to upload it, and then at the end of the month you needed to adjust your inventory numbers based on that you sold 100 on another sell, point of sale site. So at least that's the way I understood it, and the way that as I was doing it, our items are kind of one of a kind. And except for some of my game pieces, I don't typically have multiples of those same items. And so it really wasn't worth it to put all the information into a spreadsheet. It really, honestly, is almost just as quick to just, by the time I had all the information in the spreadsheet, I could have just done a listing. And so after trying it for several months, realized it just wasn't going to work for us or for me. And so this month or this year, I had went into just trying to list. So like I said, my goal since the last month was to really work on the number of listings that I'm doing per day. So my goal has been to hit 20 listings per day that I am actually getting to go live. Now, I have not quite hit that. That would be, if I worked 5 days a week, that would be about 100 listings a week. And I'm getting very, very close. I've had, I don't know, probably an average of 50 to 60 a week. And I'm probably getting very close on a couple weeks to maybe even hitting, 85 or 90 in a week. But I'm not quite hitting that 100. So I'm still working on it. And again, it's all about trying to figure out the balance between your home life and your business, and trying to work out that routine that's going to work for me. And it is hard when you work from home because you're not walking away from the dishes in the sink. You're not walking away from the laundry that needs to be done. And you're not on the other side of town from it where you can't even take care of it. There's nothing you can do about it, and you're not thinking about it. Instead, I'm walking past it all day. Every time I go to the kitchen to get a drink or to fix myself lunch, I'm seeing those dishes. And if I walk back to my bathroom, I'm seeing the laundry that needs to be folded. So it's a little bit harder when you work from home to find that balance. And I'm having to find some systems that just really work for me. I actually watched a video this morning where someone was talking about I watched a couple of videos where people were talking about compartmentalizing and trying to figure out, what was going to work for them, and that they still needed downtime and they still needed time with their significant other. And then, one of the other videos was talking about not working in the evenings and how they had to be very careful. Now, currently, I am still working in the evenings quite a few nights a week. And that is just because the routine that I have going currently is this. I get up in the morning and I typically have a bin of items sitting here that have already been drafted, that have already been bagged, and that have already been numbered, because I do have an inventory number that works for my filing system in my eBay room. And so everything has already been numbered and taken care of. And those drafts are already sitting in my eBay account. So when I get up in the morning, one of the first things that I've been trying to do is take those pictures. And it usually doesn't take me more than 30 minutes to an hour for whatever pictures that I actually have. I would like to eventually end up with more, but that is where I'm at. And so I will take those pictures. And of course, I have to pack in the morning. So I say first thing, but Excuse me. Kind of got a scratchy throat here. Um, there are other things that I do first thing in the morning, like let the dogs out, and I usually try and run a broom across my floors, and there's other things I'm doing, but I'm talking about when I finally get around to actually working. And obviously shipping the day's packages is the very, very first thing that I do, and that gets done first thing in the morning so that I can set them out for my mailman. And we do schedule a USPS pickup so that they will come and pick up my packages, and I just set them on my front porch because I have reached the point where most days I have either too many packages or I have packages that are too big to fit my mailbox. So a USPS pickup works, and I usually go ahead and schedule it. And even if I have one or two more than what they say, if they were to give me a hard time, I could pull a couple of the smaller packages out and put them in my mailbox. Lately, I've not had any trouble with our post person giving us a hard time, though I have in the past when I had a pickup for 2 items and I had 5 items sitting there. They took the 2 items off the top and left the rest. And I actually had to file a complaint with the post office because if it was in the mailbox, they'd have to take it. Like that is their job, is to pick up our mail. And as long as it's under like a 70-pound limit, then they have to take your mail. So I did have to file a complaint, but I have not had any issues since then. And that was about 2.5 years ago. So that's been a while. But regardless, so I get those packages out. I set my packages on the front step, and then I move on to the other things that I need to do for the day. And so that's where I'm talking about. At that point, basically what is my listing routine? I'm sitting here like moving my hands, and y'all can't even see it because my hands are all down here, but it kind of looks like I'm really all fidgety and all this, but it's more me talking with my hands. At any rate, and I don't want to fall back in that habit of saying too many times. I know I've said it a few times this video already, but at any rate, so I start with those pictures. I've been taking those pictures first thing in the day. It works really well because in the morning I have a tendency to be up and moving, more oxygen flowing, and it's just a good time for me to do that before I really kind of start getting a little more tired, and I've worked all day and you start kind of running out of energy, that afternoon sluggish kind of thing. So it works well for me to get up in the morning and take care of those pictures first thing. And so I actually recently set up a picture thing, and you guys can't see it, but it's just over here to my left on the on that far wall, and it's where my mom sits and takes pictures. And then this past week, I even bought a large roll of white paper, which makes things a whole lot better. And instead of a little card table, which I had, which was only like a 2.5-foot table, I actually added a 4-foot card table that's pretty much the length of the roll of paper. And I pinned the paper at the top of the wall, and then took the piece just long enough to come past the table. It's big enough that if I move the table, the paper will hang, and it'll be big enough for me to do clothing pictures if I want to, which I have not yet done clothing, but that is on my list of things that I want to do. But it's been really good for taking pictures. My pictures have gotten even better. Of course, I had bought the umbrella lights back in September, and so we've been using those. That has also been good. And so having my mom take all these pictures has worked really well. But anyway, getting back to my daily routine. The routine that has worked for me, getting up and taking those pictures, and then coming to my desk and trying to get as much drafting as I can do. And I have a rule that I don't really slow down, and I don't try and move from my desk until about between 2:30 and 3:30. And between 2:30 and 3:30, I will go ahead and take care of any other things around the house that need to be done, which may be to start dinner, it may be to switch a little laundry, any of those type of little things. And like I said, by then I tend to be slowing down, not getting quite as much done by then. And I also start kind of getting stiff in my chair, and I kind of need a break. So, and that's even with getting up a few times during the day. It's just the sitting in the chair for long periods. It's just not good for me. So what I have been doing then is in that afternoon, then I will move to the couch, and I will allow myself to work on my computer for a little bit, for like 3:30 to 5, sometimes 5:30, maybe even kind of work and watch a little TV at the same time. But usually it is, more mindless things. And I'm sorry, guys, my camera is not It's looking really grainy and blurry today. I'm not sure if it's the light source I've got going from the window or what, but I'm not sure what's up with that. But regardless, um, and then of course I have to stop and fix dinner, get everybody fed, and then my husband typically is going to want to sit and watch TV in the evenings and and unwind from his day. And so at that point I will watch TV, but I have been continuing to work and drafting smaller items like game pieces and things in the afternoon as much as I can, or I have revisions that I do. So those things have just been really, really nice. It's made a good routine. And that way, by the time the next morning rolls around, I have more listing drafts already completed, more items waiting to be photographed. And so then the next morning I start the process all over. And one of the other things that I have also noticed is that I've been trying to build up my number of drafts so that if I have to go out of town or if I have a day or two where I'm not listing as much, I want some listing drafts sitting there for me to just be able to pop up and to put back into eBay very quickly so that I'm not spending a ton of time. And that way I can keep my listing momentum, because I have found that I'm doing much better with eBay as long as I'm listing at least 4 to 5 items every single day. And so I'm trying to build up those drafts. And so one of the things that I have been doing, and also I'm taking into consideration that I need to have enough pictures for my mom to list or to photograph. And as I'm at this point, she's pretty much in the past 2 months, she's pretty much photographed all of my old inventory as well as the new things that have drafted, and what I haven't photographed anyways. I am just about out of old inventory now. And so one of the things that I'm doing is I'll list things, and the higher dollar items that I know I really, really want to get up because I want to get the most exposure and I want to get those things sold very quickly, I will go ahead and photograph those things in the morning. And I just keep a bin sitting there for her. And so some of the lower price items that I'm not as, a lot of game pieces, that kind of stuff that I'm not as worried about getting up immediately, but I still do want to sell them and I still can make some money off of them, then I will put them in a bin for her. So she's doing items that are being sold for between $4.99 and $9.99 typically. And then, and just a note there too, like I don't have anything at this point, or I have very few things that are $4.99 that don't have shipping on them. I have recently changed a lot about my store. And so I'm not selling a lot of things that are less than $10, $15 a piece. And almost everything has a separate shipping on it. So that is something that I've really been working on, trying to scale up the business. And so that price point is changing for me, and I'm not listing as much at the lower end. So all of that being said, it's working really, really well. And I actually have delisted a lot of things over this last month, but come back to this. But then I've continued to relist. So, and like I said, that's the reason why I still haven't hit my 20 items listed every day, is because I've been doing a lot of changing and tweaking and figuring out what works for me in our routine and, how that's going to go. Now, also talking about my sales goals is that I hit the $1,500, or I should say we hit the $1,500 gross sales last month between all three of our accounts. That was our goal. Our goal this month was $1,800. And so that's only a $300 growth. Now, I don't think that I'm going to hit that. And the reason is because my husband really hasn't sold anything. And we've only sold about 175 on Amazon. And typically we have around $400 in sales on Amazon. It's $400 or more. And so I am going to actually hit $1,000. And actually with the sale that came through just a minute ago, I should absolutely be over $1,000 for the month of October. And that is from October 1st until today, which is October 30th. So I actually still have one more day. But so I guess it's a possibility we'll actually hit the $1,500 mark again this month, which if I can hit $1,500, I'll be tickled. But like I said, with all the changes that I've been making, I'm probably not going to hit that mark. And I really would be surprised if November does, just because of holidays. We actually have a vacation planned in November. I'm actually going to be out of town the end of this week. So there's some things that are going to slow us down again, but we're just going to keep pushing forward, and I'm going to keep striving to hit that. And I think that's the thing, is that the more you work towards it, the more you learn and the better you get. And it's only going to get better as you come out of it. So I'm not going to stress about it at this point. I'm just going to keep pushing forward. So I'm just going to make this a quick introduction, or not introduction video, but update video on us and where we're at. So that is the end of this video for today. If you have any questions, I would love to hear them. So by all means, go ahead and message me or comment, and I'll definitely make sure that I answer them. And make sure that you like the video and that you have subscribed if you haven't already, so you can keep learning and growing with us. I don't claim to be an expert in anything. I'm just trying to learn as I go, and I'm putting out there what I'm learning and what's working for me and what's not working for me. So I hope you can get something out of this just like I do. So happy selling, and I hope I'll see you again.